And just a reminder, coming up in about an hour and 18 minutes from now, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 on the West Coast, the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. Back live at Rogers Centre in Toronto. As promised, we are going to preview the Eastern Conference, and there he is, somewhere out on the field behind us. Elliotte Friedman joins us this year. Elliotte, welcome to the crew, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Brian, and thank you very much. It's a pleasure to join all of you as part of the CFL broadcast team. In the last couple of years in the Eastern Division, the balance of power has firmly been based in Montreal. But as the 2005 season begins, it's the Alouettes who find themselves in an unfamiliar position. For the Argonauts, few faces aren't familiar. A dynasty in the making or a mistake to stand pat? That motivator, Michael Clemens, reflects his players' loyalty by sticking with the status quo, and success begins with the defense. It is opportunistic. It is efficient. Ageless Damon Allen seems to be the only one who could unlock the team's offense. His health will determine the chance of a repeat. The Alouettes lineup has changes, although we wait for Don Matthews to unleash Michael Jenkins and Terry Vaughn. But Anthony Calvillo will look to Kwame Cavill and the always steady Ben Cahoon to be the focus of his attack.
When all the stars are falling.
When all the stars are falling, quarterback is a concern given last year's Eastern Final failure. But Montreal, 14-4 1 year ago, has the prowess to celebrate over this division again. 2004, a hurricane of horrors for Joe Pow Pow and the Renegades.
We ain't giving up, baby. We coming. We coming.
We'll see. New ownership turns to Kerry Joseph once again, and the talented pivot from McNeese State tries to lift the Ottawa club out of the basement. It's been since 1979 that a team in this city has had a winning record. They'll need their offensive stars, Yo Murphy and Josh Rannick, to get this franchise running in the right direction. For the Tiger Cats, Coach of the Year Greg Marshall has a tough act to follow. He's lost Joe Montfort and most of his D-line. The only man returning from there, Adriano Belli, putting even more pressure on Rob Hitchcock and the rest of Hamilton's hitmen on that side of the ball. Meanwhile, record-setting Danny McManus has plenty of heart, but he's wearing down. But can Marcus Brady show enough consistency to wrest the quarterback job away from him? So much production will be needed from the likes of Troy Davis to carry the offensive mail in Hamilton. Can regular folks become superheroes? We'll find out for sure as the season unfolds in the tough Eastern Division.
Thank you, Elliotte. Let's begin down the road, down the Queen Elizabeth Way in Hamilton. Greg Marshall set the bar awfully high last year, Greg Frères, and I'm not convinced they're set at all positions, in particular quarterback. This is not a knock on Danny McManus. We all know him and respect him, but there's a problem there, I think, with the O coordinator.
Well, we talked about appropriate changes in the East not being made in the beginning of the show, and the passing attack of the Hamilton Tiger Cats really sputtered. They were doing a great job rushing the ball with Troy Davis, but they needed to bring in a impact receiver, and they brought in Chris Brazel, who is supposed to be that guy, and he is a great football player, but he is not the type of receiver that they needed. What we had talked about all season long is they needed an intermediate route runner. I don't want to just continually sort of pump you up.
Pump me up.
I don't think it's any mistake that Danny McManus had great success, as he was mirrored with my buddy here, Darren Flutie, because he is the style of receiver that he needs. He's throwing on time, and these guys, they don't have that receiver right now.
I think the problem right now in Hamilton is implementing their offense. They're way too basic. Don't know if it falls on Coach Parisi. Don't know if it falls on Coach Marshall or Danny McManus, but balance sets, 3 receivers, 1 receiver on the other side, 2 tight ends, that doesn't get it done in 2005 in the Canadian Football League. You got to spread it out and have some movement.
Let's go to Montreal. You know Don Matthews well. Say what you want about Matthews. he knows how to produce winning football teams.
Well, definitely. I mean, they've had some challenges this year. They've lost Copeland. They've lost Thyron Anderson to the NFL. They've lost Davis Sanchez. But once again, when you've got a guy like Don Matthews heading up your team, he's going to keep somebody like Anthony Calvillo around. And as long as you've got Anthony firing on all cylinders, that team is always going to be in contention. They've still got Ben Cahoon. They've still got Kwame Cavilla as receivers, and those guys can light it up.
Yeah. As long as you've got Calvillo, I'm wondering, have they done enough, Greg, you talk about this all the time, to back up Calvillo? We saw what happened to that team when he was injured.
Well, and every team last year needed to go through two quarterbacks. And unfortunately for the Montreal Alouettes, it happened in the Eastern Final, and that's when all of a sudden everything went and blew up in their face. And so the risk just to have one quarterback and not develop a second blew up in Don Matthews' face in 2004.
Well, let me say this. Don Matthews is a gambling man, and he's gambled over the last 5-6 years with Anthony, and Anthony has not gotten hurt.
Let's go to Ottawa. We'll talk in detail about Toronto in our pregame show in Vancouver. What about the Ottawa Renegades? A disaster waiting to happen, or is it already happened?
I don't think it's disaster. I think defensively they look a lot stronger, and give Coach Marshall credit for making that defense better. They look very good against Edmonton. Offensively, it's a disaster, and it's a disaster because they can't protect their quarterback. I think Kerry Joseph and Josh Ronick and Armstead had a great game, and Yo Murphy, talented guys, but the 7 sacks, and he was pressured a lot more than that. They're in trouble on offense.
Talented guys, but these guys are fast, and this is like a track meet out there, and yet they're holding the reins in. They're not letting these guys run. There wasn't one pass over 20 yards to me when I was watching the game, and they got to let them get out and go downfield and challenge defenses.
All right, we'll talk about the Toronto Argonauts in our pregame show. I think we all agree, though, it's Toronto and Montreal, followed by Hamilton, and then at the bottom, Ottawa.